ça? Oui. Je suis désolé pour l'italien, je sais pas ce qu'il m'a pris.
Movie this time, the story of a 38-year-old woman with the status of a widow of one child who was in a relationship with the popcorn. It's a long way from age. But the widow who, this is very spoiling the eyes of the men who look at him, until it was revealed that the widow had a certain purpose when in a relationship with this popcorn. And here's the movie. The story begins with showing a mature women have pretty well established careers, who worked in one of the famous magazines in the city of Paris, named Alice. Besides career women, Alice is also a single mom, who has one child. In that day Alice was very busy. She is a magazine editor. Looks very disappointed with the printouts he made, because the results aren't the exact same with what he edited on his computer.
I know it, but look, here is not the same.
Alice, who are perfectionists, this is concerned that the result will lower the level of performance at the company he works. Even if we know our maximum effort in a company not so appreciated, because who will enjoy the results? It is simply the owner of the company itself. But just know, the company is not a place to work, but a place to find face. And that's what Alice does. He's struggling with the target of being promoted to promotion. Even though he is busy at work, Alice did not forget to buy souvenirs for his son. Cute big doll. It was a choice of gifts for her daughter. Busy working and taking care of children, that's what makes. Alice doesn't really care about his love problems. Until one day on the plane, looks a handsome young man, which happened to be one flight plane with Alice named Baltayar, an engineering student who was enjoying his semester break. In the plane, Baltayar did not get a chair to sit, because the chair is worn by bosun. Until forced to, Baltayar asked for help to the flight attendant to find a chair for him. Until finally, Baltayar got a chair adjacent to electric seat.
C'est monsieur qui va s'asseoir ici.
Pardon, je vous coupe, t'as trouvé.
The long journey began. Initially the flight went smoothly, and all of a sudden their flight hit terrible, to make all the passengers look scared. Alice, who tried to stay calm, unconsciously holding Baltayar's hand tightly to reduce the fear. But Baltayar don't mind that. And when the terrible ends, Alice just realized that. Immediately withdrew his hand with some embarrassment.
Non, c'est pas grave, j'ai pas de soucis.
The plane landed at its destination, France. At the airport, too, Baldon invites Alice to get acquainted. With a little nonchalance, Alice mentioned his name because he seemed to be in a hurry, until Alice accidentally dropped the flash containing his work files. Baltayar, who saw it by rushing after. But baby Alice, who is in a hurry to make Baltayar not have time to chase Alice. Alice also took up the invitation that he had been waiting for a long time. She is her sister, Alice, who very often tries to match Alice with her chosen man, but they are not very enthusiastic about what they do. Now Alice goes straight to his office. He hurried to meet the boss.
Il est sensible, charmant, délicat, aussi sérieux que toi.
Maybe the slogan that in the office is family, it was not obtained by Alice, because Alice are always put first in the office, made his co-workers envy him. Alice felt uncomfortable in the office. Until then his boss, Alice, started comparing Alice with one other employees whose current performance has exceeded Alice. It makes the boss always compare work, less satisfying Alice. Instead of getting a promotion, now Alice is demoted from his previous position. Alice, who feel disappointed, he immediately left the place. She went to her ex-husband's house. Even though she was divorced from her husband, Alice kept the rope of friendship well to her ex-husband that. In the next day, Alice went back to his workplace, and he just realized that the flash was not in where he usually keeps it. Not long after, his friend Alice contacted him, said that the flash was invented by a man named Baltayar. Swiftly, Alice directly contacted Bales Don. After getting the info from his friend, there was a noise when Alice called him, which turned out to be Baltayar was engrossed in nonki-nonki with his friends. Alice, who could not hear clearly the words of the Don Ball, he immediately wanted to meet the Bales of Don in his nonkinya. Ellis arrived at the place of the dawn bales. Bales dawn directly warmly welcome Ellis, but Ellis, who didn't have much time to tag along, chilling there. Unfortunately, the dawn says that when this flash is not in his hand, but the flash is at home. With force, Ellis must come with Bales dawn to his house by riding a cute pink motorcycle owned by Baltayar. Maybe this is the first time I've traveled on a motorcycle. He seems to have a hard time wearing a helmet. When riding a motorcycle, Bales dawn, the dawn who saw it immediately helped Ellis put a helmet on Ellis's head. And coincidence, across the street, Ellis's co-worker saw her riding a cute motorcycle. Ellis was even more embarrassed by the incident. Plus, their positions seemed to be wrestling lips. Intentionally, moment, it is immortalized by photographing and uploading it to the media. Social. After the incident earlier, until they arrived at Baltayar's house, there was already his father, Baltayar, who was with a woman again, who is Baltayar's prospective stepmother, and they got acquainted with each other because Ellis felt that this was a waste of his time. Ellis then asked for his flash quickly, but unfortunately, Bell dawn a bit difficult to find the Ellis flash, and not how long Ellis flash found. Quickly, Ellis took it and asked to go home immediately, right then and there. But the dawn bales say that he wants to know. Ellis is closer, haven't had time to utter another word. Ellis directly contradicted the word Belfayar. If this ball of dawn is not the type, and a huge age difference, and Ellis just left Baltayar. Heard the words of Ellis earlier, Baltayar a little disappointed. The day began to change. Elicals who have in the office feeling a little suspicious of the situation in the office because all his co-workers laughed at him. Until finally, Elicals saw a photo of himself with Baltayar with position like being lip wrestling.
Qu'est-ce qu'ils ont tous là? Rien?
It made Eli feel even more embarrassed, and his prestige in the office seemed to be low. Even Ellis's boss lately no longer uses his idea, and feel that Ellis is no longer productive now. Since then, Ellis has lost his passion for life. He seemed reluctant to undergo activities and busyness, as usual, until her male friend suggested that there was a change in his life. He also suggested a slight lifestyle change and the appearance of Ellis, so that the boss can glance at Ellis again like before. Then he followed the advice of his friend.
Avec toi dans 2-3 soirées, tu le prends par la main, tu lui fais les yeux doux en public.
D'accord.
Little by little changes made Ellis. And he also thinks that right now he needs help from Berandong Belfayar. Ellis began to approach Baltayar. Initially, Baltayar refused the request from Ellis, but whatever the power of Ellis, who have this incredible charm, plus the bumper is still fresh and stands out, make the Bales of Dawn can't resist it anymore. Bales Dawn was invited. Alice in the meeting of colleagues she has. All that is done, Ellis, so that his boss realizes that age can age. But if the taste is still the same as young people, and Ellis also do not hesitate, introduce the Dawn Bales to his co-workers.
Vous êtes vraiment belle.
On y va, c'est un petit truc là.
Ah bon?
But the view from co-workers is even in a negative direction, but mental. Ellis, who is like steel, as if not care that he is now being humiliated, until for the millionth time, Ellis still invited Baltayar to come with him. And this time, Alice is a little brave by wearing a quirky dress like a transparent curtain that shows the beautiful curves of her body. He did it to get the attention of his boss again. Until at some point, there was one model that tripped and fell. The Dong quickly helped the model. For his actions, it amazed everyone. With that incident, the boss became interested in his boss. Ellis also seemed to be interested in the style Dawn of her lover. This article sees an opportunity. Ellis immediately handed Bales Dawn to dance with that boss, and Ellis's efforts were successful. The boss could not turn his eyes to the Bales of Dawn when dancing together. The event was over. Now Ellis and Baltayar are on their way home. Right in front of Ellis's house, Baltayar tried to get Ellis to wrestle her lips. But baby, Ellis can avoid it because Ellis is not ready for it, and he hurried into the house. Feel like I haven't said goodnight to Ellis. Baltayar tried to get into the house of the Elist. For not saying hello, it feels rude to Baltayar. In the house, bailing, even drifting away the beauty of the beautiful body of Ellis until the backflip cannot be avoided. But thanks to what happened last night, now Ellis feel fitter than usual. Because it's been years, Ellis never felt the milky wand, as long as she's widowed. Even Ellis's co-workers saw something different about him. Alice looked more spirited and sweaty than usual. In the end, the heart of a widow was made devastated by Baltayar. With a modest capital, he managed to conquer the heart. This super busy career woman. Since then too, the closeness of the two of them is unquestionable. Free time, they're always filled with backflips together. Even so fresh the mind of Ellis, he can contribute a wild-eyed eye to his work. And all that is always accepted by the boss. Because of that success, competitor Alice began to envy him. And then, thought in the mind of Baltayar to end the relationship. This is to go to a more serious level. Right at night, Baltayar invites Ellis to drink together, and that's where Baltayar expressed his desire to Ellis, to always be able to live with his idol. But unfortunately, Ellis refused the invitation of the Don Bales in a subtle way. If their ages are very different, not a beautiful thing that gets Bales Don, but instead the opposite. Ellis asked to end their relationship.
Rester très longtemps. Des désagréments de la mère de famille. Quand j'aurai 50 ans, t'auras 31 ans?
Ellis's life is back to normal, with that incredible rush. And now, IDE proposed Ellis always approved by the boss. Compared to reverse, Baltayar is now always imagine about his memory too. Ellis she also feels sad. Their relationship must end. His father who saw the condition of the child, be concerned and give instructions to the Baltayar, if not blinded with love. Remember, all just a deposit. Don't feel like you have, because if there is a sense of it, then prepare a strong heart to feel lost. 1 week has passed. Ellis is now seen presenting his idea in the office, right in front of the company director. Somehow that day, his brilliant-eyed Ellis didn't get a good response from his boss. Because the male models of Ellis do not fit in the view of the boss, and Ellis also recommend other male models. But no one could interest the boss. And when I saw the photo of Baltayar on the laptop of Ellis, the director was interested in asking so that the Don Bales could be the model he wanted. Ellis couldn't help but say yes to the request. With a hurry, Ellis visited the house Baldon, and the condition of Baltayar is not very good. Post left by Ellis. Drink bottles, which is not labeled halo scattered everywhere. Like the nature of the candidates in the land of Konoha, come when there is a wish. Leaving without a word, without keeping his promise. That's how Ellis is currently. He tried to persuade the Don Ball to want to be his model. But unfortunately, Baldon refused Ellis' request. Ellis went home empty-handed, but he even lied to the boss that Baldon is coming tomorrow. Hearing that thing, friend Ellis tried to remind not to give false hope to his boss, but whatever power, it's all for the prestige and quality of his career that is at stake. Until the director wanted to see the Don Bales. There are only a few hours left. Came the Don Bales escorted by the father. Quickly makeup team apply makeup and Baltayar hair. It is expected to go smoothly. Suddenly a friend of Ellis came and tell the real thing. If the intention of Ellis approaching Baltayar is just a play, hearing it, Baltayar is getting annoyed, especially during a photo shoot session. Baltayar always yelled at photographer with his inappropriate style, until the emotions of Baltayar began to peak. Arguments cannot be avoided anymore. Ellis and Baltayar yell at each other until the incident was seen by the boss and director, as a result of which Ellis was immediately fired from his job.
Bluffant. Putain. Quoi, j'ai rien vu.
Since that incident, Elizabeth's life has been a little messy, and his passion life starts to wane. He realized he had mistakenly played with the feeling of the Bales of Dawn, who have sincerely loved him, mindfully and heartened. Ellis came to campus Baldon and immediately apologized for his actions.
Vous avez tout ce qu'il faut. Si, tout va très bien. Voilà,
J'étais nulle, Balthazar.
A year has passed. Ellis tried to cultivate his hobby first, who likes to write, and his efforts resulted in a novel. Ellis is a sweet seller who deliberately raised the story of her romance with Baltiger. The movie was finished.